everyone, welcome back to another video. I'm Jacki Shea, just in case you're new here. Today I'm doing a little bit different type of video for you guys. I know there's a ton of them out there and there's a bunch of different ways to throw a net, but I just got a brand new 10-foot cast net and I just spent a lot of time practicing and learning how to do it for myself. So I figured I would just kind of share with you what I learned and what I like to do when I throw my big heavy net. If you're interested in purchasing your own cast net, they can get a little pricey, so you want to make sure you're getting the right thing and what works best for you. There's different lengths of cast nets. Some go 12 foot, 14 foot, 8 foot, 6 foot. There's all different sizes. That's just the length. So mine's a 10 foot. When it opens out all the way, it's going to be 20 feet across. It depends on how big your boat is, how much bait you're trying to get. Honestly, I think for recreational fishing, you don't need anything bigger than a 10-foot net. Maybe a 12 or a 14, but that's big enough. Smaller nets are great for smaller boats, things like maybe even a paddleboard or a jet ski. Smaller nets are also great for launching really far. So if you see some bait that's really far away and you want to get it way over there, a smaller net can fly a lot farther. Also, another thing to think about when you're going to purchase a net is the size of the holes in the net. They're like this big, if you can see that. It's about a 1-inch stretch on mine. They come in different sizes. You can get bigger holes for bigger bait, smaller holes for smaller bait. So think about the size of the bait you're typically going to be going after when you go fishing. The last thing about my net that's a little bit different than more common nets that you see are the weights. Check out these weights. They're pretty big and there's a lot of them. I'll put a picture right up here of the more common types of weights you see on nets. They're a lot lighter, smaller, and typically more spaced out. I weighed this net and it weighs 16.6 pounds. That's heavy. More common type of 10-foot cast net might weigh 10 to 12 pounds. Now I want to quickly go over the parts of the net so you can kind of know what I'm talking about when I'm explaining you how to throw it. This is your hand line. This is what attaches to your body and what you pull the net back in with. So this is very important. The hand line attaches to a swivel, which is then connected to a bunch of smaller lines in a big bunch like this. These lines all run through a big plastic top right here, which is called the horn. So these lines, people call them tuck strings, some people call them braille lines. I'm going to call them braille lines in this video. The braille lines run through the horn and go all the way down, all throughout your net, and they attach to your lead line. This is your lead line, the big bottom section full of weight. Oh, big mullet right there. I think it's really important for you to also know how the net works so that you can use it properly. When you throw your net and you have a bunch of bait, you pull it out this way. That braille line tucks all those weights back up under and keeps the net closed. So you do not grab the horn and release the net until you have everything in the boat or everything aimed into the live well so your bait can go straight into your live well or into a bucket or wherever you want it. I'm going to show you my favorite method for throwing this heavy, large net and what I found to be most effective. I've tried to throw it a few different ways and this seems to be the best for me because it's so heavy and it's just a lot more manageable for me. The method I use is called the triple load method. So that means we're going to be separating our weights, our lead line, into 3 different sections. And it can be a little confusing to some people, and it really was confusing to me at first, but just watch the video and try to do it for yourself and you'll see it's really not that hard. It's super simple and anybody can do it. I think practicing is also a big major key to throwing your cast net right. If you don't practice your net, you can watch all the YouTube videos in the world, but if you don't practice, you're not going to get a feel for your net and how you like to throw it. Okay, so step number one, make sure your net is untangled. You do not want a tangled net. So start out with your hand line, attach your hand line to your wrist. You can attach it to your left or your right, depending on which way you like to throw the net. And then begin to make coils in your hand. You can make large coils like this, or you can make small coils like this. I like to keep it all the same. Do pick one or the other. There's an advantage. Doing larger coils means less material in your hand. Smaller coils means more material in your hand. So coil your net up nice and neat. Don't just grab it all and bunch it all up and make knots. You want it to be nice and neat and organized. It's really going to help you develop a good habit of keeping your net untangled and ready to throw. So now you get to the horn. You made your coils. Make sure your braid line's not sticking out too far. Make sure it's not tucked in too far. You want it to be nice and slack. Everything straight. Okay. So I straighten out my net. My braid line's sticking out about this much. That's okay. It's nice and slack position. It's not all tangled in there. So then some people like to grab their horn about here. Some people like to grab it all the way out like that. I find it most comfortable grabbing it right here. You go into maybe step 2 and start making your coils with your net. My net is nice because I've got it in these custom colors that kind of act as guidelines for me when I'm coiling up my net. So I go and I make my first coil right at about here, still keeping everything untangled and nice and organized, coiling it all up the same direction. And then your last coil before you get to your weights is a little bit more important. This also depends on your height, also how long your net is. For me, I like to grab the next coil right below my belly button line. So they're right here. The lower you grab it, the less weight you have swinging around. The higher you grab it, the more weight you have swinging around. You don't want too much and you don't want too little. So I got about this much. Pull it back up in this hand. And now I've got my first load. This is heavy, so I need to split it up. And the way I like to do that is put my knee out like this. So grab the lead line with your fingers and tuck from the front, grab the lead line and pull it out like this. Pull out about 1/4 to 1/3 of the net. Okay, so I'll grab maybe a little bit more. I threw my net a few times earlier, so it's a little dirty. So now you got this second load right here. This is the confusing part. You want to swing it under and over the shoulder that's holding all the weight, all the net. So I'm going to do that one more time at a different angle just so you can get it better. Okay, so I'm going to do it like this. Up and over like that. It's not over your shoulder, it's under this arm and over your shoulder. Like this. Your second load. So it already feels a lot better in this hand. You've got a load on your back here. Now we're going to make our third load for the triple load. Grab this lead line that's closest to you, coming under your arm here, and then do the same thing. Put your knee out and pull out about half of the remaining weights. Okay, then when you do that, make sure you grab the lead line again with either your thumb and your finger or your pinky, some people like to do, but just make sure you're aware of where that lead line is before you go to grab the rest of your bunch, okay? Because if it's under here and you don't really know where it is, it might get caught or you're not gonna let the net land properly. Okay, so now I have my first load, my second load, and my third load. So I'm ready to throw the net. You can do a spin or you can swing. I think it's important to know how to do both ways. The spin offers a little bit more of a launch when you're trying to throw the net out a little further away from you. The swing offers a little bit more stabilization like this. Also, if you have to really keep an eye on the bait and throw it in a really precise spot, the swing allows you to keep your eye on that bait while you're ready to throw it and make sure you throw it in the right spot. I think it's important to practice and know both ways for both situations. So I'm going to show you guys both. Oh, another thing. One last thing before I throw it. So once you're ready to throw the net, it's all about getting those weights to swing and work for you and not straining yourself so much. Let the weight of those lead lines work for you and swing so you can really use the momentum to get your net out. You really need to let the momentum do the work for you here. So here we go. So I'm done for the day. I throw in the net enough times. I'm getting a little worn out, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something today. I hope I helped you out a little bit. Give it a like if you liked it. Hit the thumbs up button. It really supports my channel. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, because I'd love to have you here. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Clean the Castnet when I get home, because it needs to be cleaned with fresh water.